Hi, I'm Laurel Dietz. I'm from Alinea Legal Coaching. I am a family lawyer, and I'm here with Bettina Plendel of BP Financial Divorce Strategies.
Right, financial divorce strategist. That's what I call myself. Yes, I'm here in Nanaimo, and yeah, thanks for having me, Laurel.
So I do want to ask you about your current plan for educating people who are just entering into marriage-like relationships about their finances and why you think that's important. But before we get there, can you just tell everyone who's watching, what is a financial divorce strategist? What is it that you do?
That's a very good question. First of all, you won't find it in a dictionary, but I came up with it. It's a pretty cool name, I think, because I really want to provide people who are dealing with family finances because of separation and ultimately potentially divorce with their financial situation and how to have a really good strategy about it. Because you don't necessarily unpack the chainsaw and cut everything in half, neither literally nor is it a good idea often if you do it with the assets you have on paper. There needs to be some strategy around taxes and taking a few more things into consideration, as what people need to understand. Ultimately, you have one pot of money, and now it's about dividing it in a way that is equal and serves you best depending what your next chapter in life will hold. And that is why I think strategies around it, a good conversation, even if you don't like each other anymore, would be best, because naturally people don't have in their interest to destroy equity or give it all to CRA. They might not want to give it to the ex, but
even if you're separating, your interests are aligned, and let's try and keep as much of our money as we can and figure out the best way. So I think that's really interesting. You say we don't take out the chainsaw and just chop everything in half. And there should be a lot more nuance and strategy to it. And the reason that's interesting is because if you do end up going to court, you do fight it, decide to fight this like battle, that's essentially what the court's going to do. They're going to take out a chainsaw, they're going to cut everything in half, and it's going to be really bad for everybody.
Yes, absolutely. And the fairest is always to sell it in the market and split the cash. But does it make sense? And that's where I can help. So I love to create those strategies a little bit, sometimes outside the box, hybrid solutions. So we have a plan that, again, puts the most money into each pocket.
That's perfect. So, okay, so we were just talking earlier about this, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to share. You're thinking about offering, I guess, some sessions to people who are starting relationships. Why do you think it's important that couples entering into a relationship have this kind of, or have a discussion with you?
Well, I think what happens when you go into a relationship, you're super full of love and you just totally mad about each other, and you might disregard a few really very important things, and naturally we figure out a little bit later, oh, person X has that point of view about this, and you might find yourself not quite agreeing. And those things are buried pretty deep if you're really in love with someone, and because you're on the surface, everything is awesome. Funny part is often something where people have a really funny relationship to. Money means so much different. People are sometimes not really connected to their money, so they just love to go and spend it in a casino. And the other one is for some other reason, maybe they grew up really poorly. They want to hold on to it as much as they can, and they don't even want to trust it to anybody, and they don't even share potentially everything. So we have two extreme money personalities in that event. It would be a spender and a saver. And those couples, they have a great life until things may occur and they're not that happy anymore. And then one might go and buy something out of frustration, and the other one is totally upset about that super stupid purchase which was just done. And so it's dynamite in that situation. And that came potentially can, they can talk about it and figure it out, but it doesn't change that we have totally different money personalities. And ultimately, if it comes to retirement savings, saving up for down payment on a house, it will collide. They will most likely have either they are really good people and talk about it, or they hit a roadblock and they can't overcome it, and then things happen on their own. They get their own dynamics. And
Yes.
that applies to new, younger people who don't really have that experience. They're out of school, they make their first monies, and they would love to have everything, but they need some strategies. Or those who just walk away from a relationship, potentially have a pot of money, and now need to protect themselves. So it stays with them. So it's basically, again, a hybrid about understanding what is going on in the financial world, how can I get ahead, how to save ultimately, and how to have that communication about all of this in a very casual way. So just
sort of having a session. So bringing, it may be like a little bit like a facilitated conversation, because it is like a sensitive topic for a lot of people to talk about money, especially when they're with someone who they love. They want to say, well, you can have everything of mine except, right? So maybe putting together a strategy or having a plan where you both put together, with the help of someone else to guide you, can kind of make that a little bit more neutral, a little more objective. And then, or help you identify where maybe you are completely on different pages. And then in that case, possibly a cohabitation agreement would be the best thing to protect both of you, so that you can both kind of have your happy relationship, but keep your finances out of it.
Yeah.
That could be a strategy.
Yeah. And one thought why I got to that was I have quite a few mediation clients, and you feel there's still so much left of the love and the caring about each other. And it's really just that money component.
Yeah.
One feels, I put all my money into this relationship. It's like a black hole. It goes nowhere. And we are not getting and is getting really frustrated. And the other person thinks, he or she is so greedy. I don't get it. Why can't we have some fun? And ultimately, when you have that really budget discussion, where the money went, and seeing, oh, I spent how much on what, and so the developing that respect for the money basically and the other person, sometimes they reconcile, and that's beautiful, I think. So I think we might not have so much drama if we be a little bit more proactive in the beginning, outlining it in an agreement and simply having the conversation about it.
Yeah, just to second that, I think that if people understood the consequences of entering into this, a relationship, a serious relationship is an economic union, unless you take some steps, and one way or the other, it is some sort of, you need a plan, you need to have some sort of strategy in place. And if you don't, then what ends up happening are these sort of ugly endings potentially. And if you, and that's kind of what, you and I make our money off people ending their relationship, but at the end of the day, we don't really want people to end their relationships. That's not what we're looking for.
No, not at all. And but since it happens and we learn and we see it so frequently, I think there's nothing wrong in saying, hey, let me help you prevent what is maybe down the road because you didn't have that one conversation or two conversations today.
Yeah.
And again, outline it in an agreement. That's always perfect.
Yeah. Well, this has been fun, Bettina. Thanks for joining me. And
thanks,
I hope we can get together soon.
Yeah. See you around.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.